Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 88 now, and this is Altai, joined this week by...
Omer.
Gumbo.
Matt.
Shirelia.
We got a full house today, boys. We got a full house today and a lot of fun topics to talk about. And as always, we're going to have to start with the weekly raid. So I'm tossing it to you, Gumby.
Well, this week I actually wanted to recount last week's weekly raid because we got to fight quite a few comments. Last week we asked everybody if they could see themselves playing games in an internet cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And actually the overall response, or at least some of the more positive comments I read, where I haven't really used an internet cafe, but I kind of like to think I would use one. One here from Faye I thought was interesting. He had never used an internet cafe because the ones near him were kind of shady, but he used to go to his university's computer lab and play games, and he would talk to people, and he felt that it kind of acted as a catalyst for meeting other people you normally wouldn't talk to. Whereas Lambda also responded and said, when he didn't have a computer, he was more inclined to use one. I think we had talked about that, how we never were inclined to use an internet cafe, not only because there weren't really any near us, but we all had computers at home, powerful enough computers. And one person I also wanted to bring up too, and I guess I will mention, Brian, he said that he doesn't play games. He would never play games in an internet cafe because he doesn't want to be social when he's playing games. I imagine that's an attitude that's often unrepresented or not represented often enough, that sometimes we just play games to kind of get away from other people, and we don't want to socialize. And I can understand that. A lot of times I don't want to deal with others when I'm playing a game. So I thought it was interesting. I think there's there's an idea that people like to think they would use internet cafes. It's kind of like a romantic notion. We would go there, we'd socialize, meet new people. I think some people would, but I also think most of us are actually way too lazy, at least the people I know, to ever actually leave the house, computer and go to a cafe themselves. Maybe if there was one right next to me, I would do it, or I lived above it. But now we turn to this week's weekly raid, and this one was actually inspired by Reddit, so props to Redditor. We'll read his name because I know Redditors love to get credit.
Lone Wolf 88, but yeah, lone is spelled like a loan.
I pressed the wrong one here. So this week, we've talked about this before, especially in the beginning of the year. 2017, we really don't have big releases in the MMORPG scene. So Lone Wolf 88 proposed that maybe this will be the year of returning to previously played games, because there really isn't anything new or not much new to get hyped about. And he's calling 2017 the year of the return. I thought that was interesting because, you know what, I bet it's right. We see a lot of games still getting support, lots of updates. We see a solid developers and publishers, including for WildStar, continuing to release updates. So I want to know, do any of you guys think that this year you return to an MMORPG you had previously played? I know we bounced around a lot anyway, so maybe this is more for the audience. One game in particular I could see myself returning to would be Black Desert Online. I really like the look of the Dark Knight class, and they've been releasing some big updates, and I've been meaning to check it out. So maybe when that new update comes out, I could see myself reinstalling the game, but I want to know if you guys had any thoughts, maybe Blade and Soul or WildStar or Tree of Savior, may I hold my breath?
Do you think that companies just kind of realize that making MMOs is not worth it?
Companies, big American companies, yes. Overall, no, because I think the genre is still growing a lot if you look at Asia. So that's big Western AAA games, maybe, but outside of that, I don't think it really applies. But for me, definitely Blade and Soul is a game I'm going to come back to. They released the expansion packs, they raised the level cap. There's a lot of new stuff in Blade and Soul, and after playing a lot of other action MMORPGs, we played Black Desert, for example, too. I want to return back to the combat in Blade and Soul, which I've described many times as I think the best combat in an MMORPG, and see if how I play it again. So for me, most definitely, I'll be coming back to Blade and Soul for sure with the higher level cap.
Do they have realm transfers now in that game, or?
I don't know. I hope so. I mean, you did fix the PvP.
I'll play
the
to
PvP
play
spectating.
with you,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
For me,
Blade and Soul.
It's been oldies. I know Gumbo's been playing Vanilla WoW, and I recently started Vanilla Dark Age of Camelot. I have to one up him in his hipsterness. This game was originally released in 2001. Private server launched earlier this year, so only 3 weeks ago, and it's got over 2,000 to 3,000 concurrent players during most of the day, which is amazing. Which is probably more than the original servers had when they launched. So the world feels full. It's been a lot of fun. And when I played it a little a few days ago, and I do intend to keep playing it at least for now. So that's what I've been up to.
I already returned to Elder Scrolls Online in the Division, so there's that.
The Elder Scrolls Online wasn't the first time you played that for the Sunday Funday?
There's
No.
limit to the
ago.
return. Okay.
All right.
No,
All right. There's no limit to the return.
The first time I played it was I think right after it went free to play. Played it, not free to play, but you know what?
Yeah.
Right after they dropped the subscription, that was the first time I played it.
Sure. What about you? Any MMORPGs you plan to return to in 2017?
But I'm willing to go back to Blade and Soul. That was a really good game. I really liked it. I just got a little bit frustrated at the balance because it was really bad.
Shu was mega triggered by summoners in Blade and Soul. Like
I
literally,
straight up quit because of it.
she quit because of summoners being OP. However, they are not OP anymore. They are not nearly dominating the ladder the way they used to. The Hanmoon skills have since balanced that quite a bit.
That's good. I mean, the issue I had with it wasn't just that they were good at PvP. It's that they were like the best at everything, and it was like it kind of was just discouraging to play the game when that was the case.
Mm-hmm. I can see myself returning to Black Desert Online. Get this, when it goes free to play. So it's going to be later this year, all right? So I'll be returning to Black Desert when it goes free to play later this year. It's nothing official, but I feel it in my heart that it's going to go free to play. I mean, if you guys look at before they were like the normal free trial codes, I think were like 3 days, right? And they gave those away to everyone. No more like free trial referral needed. Now they're giving away free 7-day codes to everyone, like by default. So they already increased the length of the free trial from 3 days to 7 days. Come on, what's next, boys? Free trial, and the price is down to like $5. It's gonna go free. It's happening.
There might be
As
some.
long as it happens after our bet.
There might be some evidence here. I don't know if we want to jump subjects now but Black Desert. Remember, it might be coming on consoles, right?
Yep.
So maybe that'll be the time.
It's coming.
It is coming on consoles. So I think when that comes out, that's when either they're gonna go free to play or stick to buy to play forever. So that's gonna be your fork in the road, I think.
Do you think it's possible for it to cost money on consoles and be free on PC if they segment the worlds?
The worlds are gonna be segmented probably already.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about it might be cross-platform, and they're also working with Silicon Studio, the creator of the Abyss engine, to make sure that it's polished and ready for consoles. But I think if it's going to be cross-platform, it will only be between one platform and PC, because I don't see them being able to negotiate a deal with Microsoft where PS4 players can play on the same servers as Xbox One players, because that hasn't happened since Final Fantasy XI, which was playable on PS2 and Xbox 360.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be just one console on PC, I think. The ecosystem with consoles makes it awkward to have them all universally cross-platform.
And I just want to point out that I think it's funny that that's what people focused on, because they had already talked about console ports in the past. And what was the big news with this was actually that they were going to have Second Awakenings being added to the game. And the Second Awakenings are going to be there so that players that have already fallen behind have like a sort of starter weapon that they can awaken and kind of like catch up power-wise without having actually caught up. So that was the really big news that they announced with the Taiwanese Taipei game show talk. But everybody focused on the console ports, and I just thought that was kind of funny.
Did all the classes have their first awakening?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They're all out.
Oh, okay.
Except Dark Knight, which is... Well, Dark Knight just awakened. Shit, right.
Okay.
But that's still not on the US servers. I think they're going to wait until they've localized all of that shit before they release it at all. At least that would be the smart play. But
the graphics are also getting remastered. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, the other thing is that the graphics are getting remastered, and well, they might be remastered. It's not guaranteed. But I thought it was funny because even though it's a 4-year-old game now almost, right? And they were talking about how the game is like aging and they want to touch it up. I'm sitting there looking at it like it is one of the prettiest MMOs we have right now, if not one of the prettiest games on the market right now. And they're touching it up. Like, what is this?
It's gonna look even prettier.
I mean, just like, what company does that? I can't think of any of them except for maybe like EVE Online, but EVE Online was never ahead of the curve like Black Desert is.
Eve looked pretty, but because it was easier to make like the backgrounds look pretty, because it's you weren't really interacting with the environment that much. But yeah, I hear you.
It was never ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It always caught back up. But yeah, so those were the major points. I mean, and people that play it are also going to probably want to know that labor points are being pushed as a tradable resource. So you'll be able to trade labor points for something. I'm not entirely sure how that'll work. They don't have any details. But yeah, those are the big points. But everybody focused on the console ports.
I mean, because that's like tangible coming like soon, I guess, to North America. Like other stuff is like it's gonna come to Korea first, and then we're gonna get it. So it's always like out of reach. So people grab onto what they can get right now.
And then the mobile version, they just said that it'll be completely different. They talked about that in the past, and now they're just announcing that it's going to be completely different.
A lot of progress being made on mobile. On console MMOs. Besides BDO, we're also getting another one this year, I guess. Path of Exile will be coming on consoles.
Xbox.
Just Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, just Xbox.
Yeah, we do see a lot of console MMORPGs, and we've talked about it before briefly, that we've gotten comments about, is this game coming to console? And I think that the gap between when a game comes out on PC, at least for the MMORPG market, and when it comes to consoles, is definitely going to narrow, so long as they continue to be successful, which I guess they must be, because everyone's now pushing for the console rush. So I guess we will see, and I'm curious, maybe consoles will actually be where we look to kind of invigorate the genre more.
I'm going to posit something, okay? So console players, there are overall less of them, but I would be willing to bet that overall they're willing to pay more than the average PC player.
Wait, why?
Why?
Because you have to invest in the console. There aren't quite as many games open to you, so you stick to games longer. And overall, they complain about DLC a lot less than people on PC.
I agree with you. I'll add another point. They have not been deluged by MMORPGs the same way PC gamers have. I mean, for PC gamers, the choice of MMOs, free-to-play MMOs today, is literally hundreds, right? Hundreds. And whereas if you're on a console, it's starting to get a little crowded, but it nowhere. You can play.
It's still you can count it on two hands.
Yeah,
still.
exactly.
You can still count it on two hands.
Yeah.
There's only a handful. I can name like 5 off the top of my head max.
I can name more MOBAs than I can MMOs.
So scarcity is an issue, is a thing. Also, the fact that you have to actually port it to console, and there's some process you have to go through with Microsoft or Sony, kind of acts as a filter. So the pure Asian garbage doesn't get through, like of the MMOs.
Whoa.
So what gets through is they have to invest at least like 50, 100 grand in the port, probably at least.
Probably more, way more, I think.
So that alone kind of, like I said, filters out a lot of these like random, like buggy cash grab MMOs from Asia. So what you're left with is going to be higher quality, and the fact that there's fewer of them available. So I think they will make more money per player on console.
I think, go ahead, Shu.
I was going to say, Blizzard actually released like a video about PTR, and they kind of talked about it, or how when they want to patch something onto like a console, it needs to be like perfect pretty much. So like, because people were complaining there's no PTR for console for Overwatch. So that kind of gives you some insight that like they really need to be careful with their content. Like they have to be like on point, because there's a lot of resource cost in patching the game. So that way, like, there's a lot more quality control, like what Alte was saying. Yeah,
that was a really good video. I actually watched it too.
I saw it too.
They mentioned something about the fact that when you're patching a game on console, you have a chance of modifying Sony or Microsoft's systems. Like I can imagine some unscrupulous Chinese company patching their game as an excuse to just kind of steal all the Xbox Live information filtering through the network. So they want to make sure the patch you make doesn't contain any like nonsense or game break or network breaking features in that patch. So they basically have to approve the patch on consoles. So that was cool. That's nice too. I'm glad Microsoft and Sony are doing that for their players.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic on consoles. I mean, because there's so few games on there. I mean, I think Neverwinter, the people behind Neverwinter Art Games, when they released Neverwinter on consoles, it was one of the earlier console MMORPGs, and they were kind of blown away with the success they've had on there. Because at that moment, the PC player base was falling off. I mean, at this moment, we don't have numbers for consoles, but I think the game is doing better on consoles than it is on PC.
Which game?
Neverwinter.
Oh yeah, I think that they have a combined much higher population on consoles than PC right now.
I think so too, because the PC player base has definitely fallen off.
ESO too, same case. More popular on consoles than PC.
Yeah. So console MMORPGs will definitely keep becoming a thing.
There's not a lot of games nowadays that are made specifically for consoles that are MMOs, right?
No, almost nothing.
Because before, like, I mean, you had like Phantasy Star, right?
Yeah. That was specifically for consoles. Now there's
So I guess maybe like those games are set up well for console, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like any actiony game like ESO, Neverwinter, they do work pretty well on consoles. I think Black Desert, because it's action, will be a little more intuitive on consoles. I think the tab targeting combat will be a little bit more finicky and a little bit iffy on consoles. That's why I think a lot of the console MMORPGs are, action oriented.
Yep. True that.
All right. I actually want to share a little MMORPG story before we get too far ahead. I thought it was heartwarming. I think Matt described it as weird. I think Shu and Gummy will hear it for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's a little story. I got a message on YouTube, and I felt like sharing this with you guys. It's about a guy from Brazil who's in love with MMORPGs. And back in the year 2004, he was reading on a forum, and he discovered this game called Rising Force Online, RF Online. Show some gameplay of that while we talk about this. But it's an old MMORPG. I did first look for it a while ago, but it's an older game. And when he discovered this game, he was absolutely in love with it. He read all the lore. He read about the races, the history. And when the game released, he downloaded it on his dial-up connection. He lives in Brazil. His family wasn't very wealthy, so he couldn't even afford the game. But he was able to play the free trial. And in fact, he kept playing the free trial. It was like a 7-day free trial. He'd play it. And when the free trial time runs out, he'd beg his mom to buy him the game. And the mom was like, no. So he would just make a new account on the free trial. And every single time he get a little bit further ahead, right? So this guy is absolutely in love with the game, right? And he says it's still the best MMORPG out there ever. So
holy shit.
So after doing the free trial thing forever, his mom eventually does buy him the game. And he starts playing it. And then when the Brazilian version specifically was released by a company called Level Up, he ran out and bought the special edition of the game. It came with 3 CDs, the soundtrack, extras, and all the fun collector's edition stuff. And he describes that collector's edition as his prized possession. It made him so happy to have it, and he would always have it in his room with him. But then he described, in where he lives in Brazil, his house regularly floods. So his furniture would be destroyed. And one time, a flood came into his house, and it took away his special edition for RF Online.
Oh my God.
And he said he swam through dirty water to get it back, right? Because it was flooded away, and he was trying to get it back. He swims through the water and grabs it, right? But it was destroyed. Like all the artwork and the CDs and the packaging, it was all gone. And he was deeply hurt by it. He was really saddened by that, right? So he was asking, he was asking me if I could reach out to the developers of RF Online, if they could restore his special edition, or at least give him a way to buy a new one so he can, get it replaced. And obviously I cannot reach CCR because they're a small Korean studio, and I've actually tried emailing them before and they never responded to me. So in an off chance, CCR, if this podcast ever gets to you, reach out to me and let's hook this guy up in Brazil with a new special edition for RF Online. And he even gives me a picture of his CD over here.
His prized possession, boys.
This is the man's prized possession. And I mean, look, if you love an MMORPG so much, it's your first MMORPG. He says this is the best game he's ever played, and it's still the best game today. I mean, I think a lot of us, yeah.
I've never heard of a fan that hardcore, honestly.
Yeah, right.
You would literally swim
through dirty water,
flooded dirty water, in order to, there's probably shit in that water.
Yeah.
At this point, and you would do that for RF Online. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people don't even like RF Online. So man, you guys gotta this guy loves you. You gotta help him out.
Yeah, CCR, if you somehow hear this, reach out. Let's hook this guy up. I really wish that he gets a new copy of his special edition. It's his treasure, right? He doesn't want anything. He just wants another copy of the special edition. You don't even need the CDs to play anymore because we live, in a world where everything is downloaded online. but he loved his artwork. He loved the game. And I thought it was a touching story.
Very
Can
touching.
you even get the special edition anymore? I imagine
No.
they might even print
No,
it.
it's out of print.
I looked on eBay to buy it. I was gonna buy it for him, all right? Because listen, this guy's story touched me. I would have bought it to him and shipped it to him. So I looked on eBay for RF Online, special edition. Nothing, zero, zilch. This is
Holy
probably
crap.
out of print forever ago.
Oh,
Hey, maybe they got one in their studio somewhere,
Yeah, I doubt it though. Honestly, this is such like an old thing that there's almost no chance that they still have it. But it's nice to see a fan.
This reminds me, well, maybe a little bit of the video we watched last week of the older gentleman who really enjoyed Asheron's Call. And this is just another story of how much a game like an MMORPG can affect somebody's life. I mean, this guy, this guy is your #1 fan, RF Online.
Yeah. And,
it touches my heart.
Deep
indeed. Have you guys ever played RF Online out of curiosity?
For 10 minutes.
Now that we have it up.
Yes, I played it for 10 minutes. I remember.
I played it with my mom, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, we played it a lot, actually.
I just remember. Hours, at least.
I remember having a giant shield, and I remember like spamming like potions. That's all I remember. It was like
spamming
such
potions, good times.
But I just literally spam potions because it was like back then like we were playing like Ragnarok, right? And then RF Online was like hip back then. It was like new. It was like, ooh, look at this new game. You know what I mean? And
it's sci-fi, even though it's not, because you still use bows and swords.
Yeah, so we got it, and I just remember like having 3 stacks of potions, and I'm literally like tanking a mob, and I'm just literally just mashing it like as fast as I can.
Good times, good times.
Just mashing that potion, just like.
Go ahead, Matt.
I played it briefly when it came out as a subscription game. That was, I think it was 13 or 12. I don't remember. My brother bought it. My brother bought it, and I took his copy for a while and played it. And I didn't know what I was doing. It was like the first Korean grinder I'd ever played because it was briefly after we got our first PC in the house. So I just kind of ran around aimlessly for a while, gawked at the guy with the that already had a mech like right after launch. Sat there like, when do I get a mech? And then I quit like 2 days later because I didn't know what I was doing.
I mean, this game has cachet. I mean, you can make fun of the game for being old now, but and not too popular. But this was a game that it's been running pretty consistently. I think Codemasters was the first publisher, and when it even after it went free to, when it dropped the subscription, at no point was it really shut down. I mean, the developer picked it up, and then some other company picked it up, and the developer picked it back up. So the developer really has kept the game going nonstop pretty much since release. So it's an old game, but it's been running nonstop. So there is a core audience for this game. I mean, they've been playing nonstop, so there's something to it.
If I remember correctly, it really is really popular in South America.
Yes, I think so too. South America is the main market for RF. It had a really cute intro song too with lyrics. Like it was like something about love, and like it just sounded like really silly. I kind of liked it. It was a good song.
I vaguely remember that.
It was really cute. It was a really cute intro song. If you search RF Online like opening cutscene, it plays in the background. It's English lyrics too, and it's really really cute.
They're talking about pot spamming in chat, and that reminds me of I once watched this video of Seal Online. I was looking up PvP for some reason. I don't remember why. There was this guy. He opened his inventory, and along it was like 2 rows of 4, and they were all different kind of like potions or like consumables. And as he's doing the PvP, you just see the mouse at like light speed click across 4 of them in the same order over and over and over until someone dies. And I'm just sitting there like, I could never do that. I could never do that without missing.
Whoever invented the cooldowns for potions, you are a great man, all right? You fixed that.
That was a good gameplay mechanic right there.
That was a good invention right there. Potion spam, good times.
Reminds me of Diablo 2.
But you ran out of potions in Diablo 2, though, unfortunately, because you can only hold so many.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was a touching story. And before we get some other stuff, I want to say one more quick bit, specifically about Kickstarter games. You guys know how much I love Kickstarter titles. And there's been a game making the rounds on various MMO websites, on YouTube channels. And I want to talk a little bit about it, but more specifically about what it's trying to do. I want to preface this with, this is my opinion. It's not necessarily shared by the other panelists. So with that,
Panelists.
I'm a panelist.
You're a panelist.
I always wanted
boy.
to be a panelist.
We're panelists. It's more sophisticated
I
that
did
way,
it,
all right?
Mom.
The game is called Ashes of Creation. All right, it's made the rounds. There's no way you didn't hear about this game. It's been public. Like they've had interviews on MMOGames.com. They've had interviews on Massively OP. They've had I think Cry or somebody else. They did a video Q&A video with the developers. So they've done a lot to get their names out there, and they actually reached out to us as well, me via email, and they wanted to give us some exclusive content for YouTube, meaning they wanted to do some kind of interview with us. And I just said, no, I don't want to do a video with you guys. And my reasoning is that this game, based on, they did a Q&A video, and they showed off some environments in the game. They actually just put out a video right now showing off some more environments. Came out earlier today. And the reason I said no to these guys is they're going to do a Kickstarter campaign soon, and they're building up hype. It's pretty. I think it's pretty ridiculous that that media. Well, sorry for the rambling. The segment was supposed to be about media responsibility, and I think sites like Massively OP and MMO Games that give these indie developers a platform to talk about hype on their game before there's any actual substance is doing players injustice. I mean, look, the game ideas sound cool. They talk about their design principles and stuff like that. But when I look at Ashes of Creation, there is nothing here. There is no substance. They have environments. They have Unreal Engine 4 assets, and that's it. That's all they have. There's nothing here. They're so far from an actual playable game that allowing them to come on, on our website and talk shop, build hype is an injustice to players, I think. Because until they have something, it's just unfair. It just seems silly for them to build hype so they can start a Kickstarter campaign. They specifically did say they're going to do a Kickstarter too. So after all this hype, after all these interviews with popular YouTubers and these big websites, they're going to start raising money, and then they're going to make the game. That's not the way these things should be done, in my opinion. In my opinion, they got to create something. Even if it's super buggy, unbelievably early alpha, have something playable, okay? We talked about even that Vampire Masquerade game, this obscure vampire MMO this developer is making. He made something. He can ask for money, and I would love to interview him about it because, look, he's got something. But when these guys... And this is not specifically about Ashes of Creation. There's a lot of games that do this. When these guys have nothing, absolutely nothing, and besides some Unreal Engine assets and some cool ideas, and they build hype, it's disappointing. I don't want to give them an avenue to talk hype on MMOs.com. That's at least my philosophy.
I'm looking through these pictures, the screenshots on their website, and they have some characters walking through in the caravan. I mean, my question is, why not have that in your video or something? If you look, let me post the screenshots.
They're showing a lot of just basically environmental assets without any gameplay.
That's what I mean. I feel like something's up, right? Like if you look in this picture right there on the first screenshot, there's clearly characters there, right? Like walking and stuff. Like why isn't that in the video? Like why isn't there some kind of just showing of combat or anything?
There is no
I'll tell you, there is no way there's any combat yet.
There's no combat. There's no gameplay. That's why.
That's what I mean. There's nothing in the game.
I'm not trying to say they're being dishonest about it because I think they're not. They didn't say they had any gameplay or combat, right? They clearly do have nothing, but they're kind of not mentioning that too much. But I don't think they're going to lie about it. I mean, I'm not saying they're being dishonest about it. I'm just saying they have nothing, and thus they should not be allowed a platform to give hype.
They have an idea.
Yes,
they have a game where it's touted as being for the players. I think a big problem with crowdfunding that we see routinely is, look, if you're a traditional business, right? You got to attract investors. What do you do in a traditional business? You have a roundtable conference. A man who's 88 years old with $1 billion sits down, you show him some PowerPoint slides, and you prove to him that you can make this. But what we get with a lot of these Kickstarter projects and in this early hype machine system is a lot of fluff and a lot of promise. But it's important to remember that until there's proof of that promise, you can't get hyped because at least don't get suckered into giving away your money. It's fine to have faith, but you're fooling yourself if you're going to buy into it before you've actually seen it in action.
I guess. Oh, go ahead.
I have a whole new level to add to this nonsense. Okay, so on their homepage,
of course,
they have a section called a referral program. So you can refer your friends, and then you get 15% of everything they spend in the game.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, really?
Isn't that
Where's
shady?
that?
I just linked it.
Yeah.
Here, I'll link it here too.
Holy shit! Is that real?
Yeah.
I don't like that you get a percentage of whatever. That's.
It seems a little weird. They're trying to get players to help them hype the game and spread the game.
Other games have done that with Kickstarters, where if you refer somebody to Kickstarter and they spend money, you'll get upgraded to a different tier, right? But they're actually paying you cash money to get more.
Yeah,
people.
It says right here that like to make that clear, yes, you have the potential to play our game for free and even be rewarded with actual cash back.
I mean, look, I don't want to call them like dishonest. I don't think they're being dishonest. I think these guys believe they're going to make a great game, and all the power to them. All right, that's not the point. My point was just that they have nothing yet. I want to see people who make a game. I don't care how buggy. I don't care how early it is. Have something playable that people can see, and then ask for money. And then I would love to interview you. We talk about it. Come on, MMOs.com. We'll talk about it then. But right now, I don't want to talk to you guys to build hype because you have nothing, and you're going to promise the world. And they do promise the world. You read those interviews, they talk about all these cool gameplay stuff they're going to have, the pie in the sky ideas and dreams, how the game's going to be amazing. But there's nothing. It's just some environments. And they're beautiful environments, but they didn't have to really do too much to get those environments. You look at Unreal Engine 4, the built-in environments and stuff are gorgeous. There's a video of a guy making this beautiful mountain range in Unreal Engine 4. It said it took him 2 hours to do it. And if you look at the video, he makes it, and you can see the end, how gorgeous it looks. But this guy's not going to go on Kickstarter asking for millions of dollars after this video. But I mean, if he packages it correctly, he probably could.
This looks nice.
I got another level for you guys. So
how many levels are you going to give us?
So this game, again, right now it's just a hype machine, right? I'm not saying anything, it's not going to come out or anything, but it's questionable. But the guy behind it, the main guy on their team, the top guy here, Steven Sharif, you know what he did before he decided to make an MMORPG?
No, please tell us.
Okay, he decided he was a multi-level marketing juice seller. So he sold these
really?
Yep, he sold mango juice called Zango, and it kind of worked in that model where with Herbalife, where you sell to distributors and you get a cut of everything they sell to their distributors, and basically it's just a pyramid scheme.
Okay, multi-leveling marketing in and of itself is totally shady, unforgivable nonsense, all right? People that are involved in MLMs and selling dreams to other people, I think they're really sketchy people.
You better link. You have it up. Okay, good.
All right. So this is a guy. He hasn't changed his. He did this back in 2009, it looks like. And again, I want to say, an MMORPG is not necessarily a scam. Whatever. It could come out, it could not. I guess it depends on their funding. They do have real people working for them. A lot of former Daybreak / Sony Online Entertainment developers and designers are working for him.
That gives them credibility on the doable part. Yeah.
And he is a relatively wealthy guy. I'm just tell you guys where he got his money. He got it by peddling some nonsense juice to people. He sold it to people who he told would get rich reselling it. But obviously they never did, because that's how all these scams work.
Yeah, that's how I got my money. I sold knives.
So here's the thing then.
All right.
Why did he decide to go from that to making an MMO?
Oh, I think he's a fan.
Games.
He actually likes the game.
Yeah, he likes the genre.
Okay.
And I don't think he's doing it for a cash grab. I think he's
I don't either.
Passion project.
Yeah, passion project from the money he did by doing a scam.
I'm sure the guy's a multimillionaire from doing that. I mean, so he's made a lot of money successfully doing that. I mean, MLMs are shady, but he made a lot of money doing it. And that doesn't, again, he's passionate about the genre. He talks about, again, the ideas are fine. You look at their about section, they talk about housing, questing, sieges, PvE, PvP. I mean, they got some nice ideas, but the problem is it's just ideas. That's that was my only concern with
Perpetual motion machines are nice ideas too.
There you go.
That was kind of rude. I don't know what they can do to
The thing is though, like don't get us wrong, like if you're out there and you really want to make this game and it's going to be as awesome as you say it is, like we want you to succeed because we want to play your game.
Yes.
Right? But just the way that Kickstarter has been going, Indiegogo, just everything, like we've been burned so much that it's hard for us to believe in your pie in the sky idea. Because I mean, we can sit around all day and talk about the perfect MMO because we've done that.
Yes,
we've literally done that. But without showing us that, like, hey, you actually have something concrete that like we can see and say, oh, that could be an MMO one day, then I mean, we're gonna be very distrusting of what you have. So
yeah,
just saying, we're not hating on you for no reason. All right, that's just the climate right now.
And I'm just saying, my only policy is as long as you have something playable, then let's talk about your game. At that point, as soon as there's substance, we love to talk about your game and everybody else's games out there. It's just, I don't want to talk about games when they're in the phase where there's nothing there, and you have some Unreal assets and some cool ideas. That's nothing at that point. What you have is an idea. Now you need to actually make the idea happen, and that's the hard part. And I think everybody realizes that. because that's why a lot of these MMO Kickstarter campaigns they end up needing millions of dollars, because these are not easy endeavors.
Yep.
But yeah, that was my personal opinion on
So
the
did anyone
whole
here actually
bit.
watch the full Q&A? I know Gumball did.
I did, yeah.
Any words on what the game's supposed to be? I know it's subscription. I know it's PvP related, maybe.
Oh, the Q&A that I watched, it didn't have any substance, so I really couldn't share
Okay.
what I learned about. Matt, go ahead. Why don't you get the details?
I didn't watch the Q&A. Based on what I've read,
Let's not
here's
hype the
how
game, guys. Remember, let's not hype the game. You can talk very briefly
Well,
what
we're
they
just
want
talking
to
about
do.
what the game is promising.
all right,
What it sounds to be. Go ahead.
I don't think
All
we're hyping. I don't think anyone
All right.
can.
I think after that, what was just said,
I don't
there's
think
no
You're
anyone
right.
can
Fair.
mistake this for hype.
All right, so based on what I've read, here's what this game will be. The basic gameplay loop. So you've got nodes. And these nodes, you have to go in, you have to settle the nodes, right? As you settle, you do like, I don't know how you start it, right? But eventually it'll become like a settlement and you'll start getting quests. And as players do quests for this settlement, it'll grow into like a village and then a metropolis or something, right? And it'll get more quests and it'll get bigger. And then these metropolises can then fight with each other. So like you'll kind of be like a player built alliance just by doing quests for that specific metropolis. And what'll happen is you'll go into like this state where when you declare war against another city, you'll there'll be 24 hours to prepare for the war, and then like you can actually go and take the city all the way back down to like its tiny little settlement. Yeah, so that's the basic gameplay loop. And they've got some sort of caravan system and some other crap.
Look, God bless. I hope they make it. All right. I really hope we get more MMORPGs that do things different, like they're trying to do. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. We've seen so many cookie cutter games that anytime somebody wants to make something different, God bless. I hope it happens. I wish Chronicles of Lyria the best of luck. Even Star Citizen the best of luck. But I just want to play something in my hands before I even begin to get hype about it. That's just me.
Guys, you could own land.
Whoa, player housing. I think every game needs player housing. Player housing is where it's at, boys.
Well, that's an entirely different discussion, but...
And also, speaking of controversy, we can pivot away from this to something a little more interesting. Shu told me there's some controversy in Overwatch, so I'm not entirely sure.
There's always controversy about...
I'm not sure what the controversy is, so I'll let Shu explain. I actually don't know.
I mean, it's not really like anything new. It's pretty much whenever they have those seasonal events, people are always gonna cry about like like racial appropriation, and because the new event is the Lunar New Year, like Chinese New Year type of event, and there are skins for like the characters that are like white, for Asian type outfits, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of drama over that. And I was just wondering, like, how does everyone feel about that? Because it's a common theme where whenever they have some kind of character that is of a certain culture, there's always going to be a lot of controversy, a lot of social justice warriors crying and being, complaining about whatever they're wearing or their cultural.
Oh, come on. I'm looking at the
habits.
videos right now. There's nothing here that seems controversial to me. I mean, what? You got Mei in a traditional Chinese outfit and all the characters wearing like Chinese New Year stuff? Who is offended by this?
Wait,
I mean, I'm not.
Are you preempting the offense, or do you actually think, or do you know that people
It's
are
happened with other things.
Oh,
so
okay.
just speaking of Overwatch, there was, for example, let's use Symmetra. She had a vampire skin, okay, and the vampire skin, like her skin tone was more pale, and people were like saying, "Oh, you're whitewashing Symmetra." It's like,
She's a vampire.
really? Like, she's a vampire. That's what happens when you become a vampire, and we constantly have this
Vampires are master race.
yeah, but we constantly have this SJW response to any time there's an event. It's like people are trying to find reasons to bitch like about everything. I actually tweeted this earlier. Let me take a look because I got a reply. I tweeted, I can't wait to see what people are gonna cry about, and apparently people are already crying about stuff. one thing I got. Somebody said that people are already complaining that May is not fat enough or something
What?
in her new
She ain't
outfit.
thick enough.
She ain't thick enough. Yeah, that's
Is
actually.
she thinned out? Is she thin? Is she thin washed? Is she skinny washed?
The thing is, I don't really think she is. She just has less clothes, right? Because um, she's wearing like a giant like fur coat in her because she's from where Watch Point, Antarctica or whatever. So she's wearing very warm winter gear.
Yeah.
And in the Chinese New Year outfit, it's toned down because she's wearing just pants and like a jacket, right? And people are really complaining. I mean, and the thing is, she's not even like super thin. You compare it to like Mercy or Symmetra or Tracer, right? She's not like that in build at all, and yet people are saying that like, oh, there's issues like they're trying to like
They thin washed her,
make her,
boys.
they're thin washing her or whatever. And
Look at those fingers. The fingers
all
give it away. They
roadhogs
can't
are
hide it.
beautiful.
I mean,
That's all I gotta
Look
say.
at the front page of there's only one way to find out for sure, guys. We're going to the scientific evidence right now. If you look at the front page of Play Overwatch, you can see May's fingers.
play Overwatch.
So I'm going to compare it to May's default skin fingers if I can find it.
Maybe
All
she
right.
lost weight, guys. You know.
She's wearing a fucking gloves.
No, she's,
Maybe she
she's
lost
wearing gloves.
weight. What's
by
wrong with
default.
it's
She's
like people
wearing
can't
gloves.
change their weight? Come on. In winter
it's-
you gotta
it's-
bulk, for the winter.
That's
you
true,
Need the
that's
fat,
true.
The layers of fat like a bear.
What I'm trying to say is that we live in such a day and age where you can't do anything nice. You can't have anything nice because the instant you try to, reference some other culture or you try to do something, people are just gonna immediately start to be like, oh, shame on you, Blizzard, shame on you, company, for doing this, when that's not their intent at all. They really want to have events for everyone. Like there's the Christmas event. Now there's, now they're gonna have the Chinese New Year event, and people are gonna be upset about whatever it is. Like I'm sure people are gonna be upset about like the Mercy skin, for example, because she got like a Chinese dress Mercy skin, which is really cute, and I really love the skin. And she has a highlight intro where she like paints something in I assume to be kanji. I didn't really see it, but I assume she's painting something in Chinese, and people are just going to be upset about it.
Forget him. There's such a minority of player base. I like the real picture of May that we should all appreciate. All right, this is
all right, let me see this.
This is actually May underneath all the clothing. She's not actually thick at all. This is actually May. All right, this is a leaked Blizzard.
Leaked Blizzard document.
Yeah, this is leaked kind of concept art. All right, what May actually looks like. People are gonna complain about everything. I don't think. Luckily, I don't think it's a big percent of the player base. I think the people complaining probably aren't the people actually playing Overwatch. It's the social justice warriors and stuff that like are looking at the game from afar. So Blizzard can just ignore those people because I don't think they're offending their actual players.
But do you think if a company like Blizzard, if they step back once, I think they open themselves to so much of this too. Like I remember the Tracer thing before the launch, her pose, her butt pose, which to me it still looks the same. Her butt still
it really does.
It's pretty present still. I mean, I don't get it. Like what changed? If you yield once, they all just avalanche you with this stuff. So you gotta just ignore it. Yeah, you gotta ignore it.
You can't yield at all because like you give them a step and they're just gonna walk all over you. It's how it is.
I'm actually happy that this whole Chinese New Year is becoming more of a thing in America. Like I see it everywhere here in Vegas. Maybe because Chinese people gamble. I don't know. But every year, you got the decorate. It's just like Christmas. They got the full decorations going, events, special deals, whatever.
Looks nice. And
It's
I actually like this
fun holiday.
Overwatch. So everybody gets a free skin, by the way, a free box. If you didn't, play Overwatch, maybe at least open that free limited edition Year of the Rooster box. It doesn't hurt. I got Legendary in my first pack. I got the May skin, so I can thoroughly check it out if they thin washed her or not.
I got my Sombra buffs. My Sombra buffs.
I have another question for you guys. Maybe I don't know who here knows about cultural sensitivities, but if Asians wear suits, right, with this bow and with the little, what do they call it? Those things. Ties. That's what they're called. Suit and tie.
That's what they're called, ties.
Suit and tie. If Asians can wear suit and ties,
tie.
why can't I wear like a kimono if I want? It's the same thing, isn't it? It's like an old.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm Asian, and I believe you should be able to do whatever you want. Honestly, like if you want to do that, it's not like you're trying to be racist. I don't think, honestly.
No, not at all.
Hold on. Chinese and Japanese, Koreans just not wear suits until they interact with Americans and with
Obviously,
Europeans?
yeah, they didn't wear
I
suits.
don't know.
What?
No, but I mean,
What?
How'd you not know
that's just
that?
like
I don't.
You think everybody in the world at the
No.
same time invented that as like
It's
the
like when it's like when Wallace and Darwin both discovered natural selection. East Asia and Western Europe both discovered suits at the same time.
Are you kidding me?
But did they start wearing it right away? Like the second they
No.
saw it?
No, when they decided to industrialize, like when Japan.
Well, and also with trade.
Yeah.
Alright.
It was an old way to solidify trade.
Maybe when a civilization gets to a certain point of development, they just unlock the suit trade.
That's
you
what
know?
I forgot that Sargon of Akkad also wore suits in ancient
There you go, the
Sumeria.
Sith trees,
They
right?
advanced to a certain point.
Wow.
I mean, if you should be able to wear whatever you want. If you think that's nice, you should, you should be able to wear it. If you're a dude, you want to wear a dress, whatever. It's up to you, right?
God bless.
I ain't gonna hate. You're not being what do you call it, misogynist or whatever.
All right, enough social justice nonsense. What?
Well, fun
You
fact,
know who
guys.
needs some real social justice though, real quick?
Hmm.
Winston. I mean, come on, man. Like,
What, he's a monkey?
eating bananas and shit. That's
Wow.
racist.
Wow.
Right?
Right?
It's totally racist.
Do gorillas
Right?
eat bananas?
Yeah. Do they even eat? Let me look. Do gorillas eat bananas?
What do
Let's see.
they eat? Like grass, right? That's what I thought.
An adult male, for example, can shred apart a whole banana tree to get to the interior tender pith. Gorillas are very selective foragers. They usually only eat parts of vegetation.
Hmm.
All right, let's pivot this away from the social justice stuff, guys. I want to show off. Matt actually got a pretty cool mug in the mail. So first, let's talk about Atlas Reactor because that's what the mug is about. Atlas Reactor is back free to play officially. So again, we mentioned this when they first announced it. They said they were going to be they did this very weird system where they were free to play at first, then they're like, you know what, we're going to be buy to play, and then now like JK, we're actually going to be free to play. So they went free to play officially, and they sent Matt a nice mug in the mail. So that's kind of cool. So we'll show that off.
I think it's creepy.
I think it's awesome.
I would never drink out of that.
That's actually the character I play in Atlas Reactor. So
That looks hilarious. That's a cool thing to put on your shelf. I gotta say.
yeah, Matt, did you use that all yet? Come on, once.
No.
Once you got to use it.
No, I wouldn't use it. I just put it on my shelf.
Yeah. But I think it looks pretty cool. But Atlas Reactor,
pretty awesome.
since going free to play, just take a look at that player base jump. I mean, they were averaging like 429 players in December of 2016, and now they're peaking at 3,000, and they low at like 1,500. So the average number went from like 429 players last month to up to 2,000 pretty much regularly, which is a huge jump. And I think they did a very smart business decision because even as a buy-to-play game, if you don't have enough players queuing up, it's going to create imbalances. Games like Atlas Reactor, any competitive queue-based game needs an ongoing flux of players to maintain balance. And if you don't have that, it's going to create issues because longer queue times and people playing against pros, better players, and just dying right away and quitting the game. So with 2,000 players, I think the game is revived.
You know, I was talking about consoles earlier, but I think this game would be really good
Yes.
on console. It seems so simple. Even mobile, honestly, I can imagine playing this on a tablet because all you do is like move and select an ability, right? Every
This
turn?
could work really well on mobile, a tablet. Yeah, definitely.
I'd be worried about it on console personally.
Why?
They'd have to set the controls to be really
Yes,
good.
it has to be intuitive.
Like I was trying to play XCOM on console like earlier, and it wasn't working very well. So
Well, they have 3,000 players. So when in doubt, guys, make your game free to play. Get a big boost. They got the best of both worlds. They milked all the people who were willing to pay, but then you pay, you unlocked a lot of goodies too. So it's not like you lost anything, right? Because if you like the game, you bought it anyway. And then they made it free to play, so they get the buy to play audience, and then they make more money on the free to play audience. So
we
Good
should play
business
this
decision.
later. We should play this later.
it's a fun game. We did a
They got
Sunday Funny
new-
video for it. Yeah, new
New
character too.
characters? Let me see.
They're
Let me
called
see.
freelancers in this game, not characters. Shu, respect them.
Oh god, I went to freelancer.com.
What?
Atlas Reactor. I don't know why I thought the game was called Freelancers. Alright, let's see here. Let's see what we got. What's new? Because I think that was like my biggest complaint was the lack of characters. Oh, I like that Bryn, Sky Warden, and okay, yeah, I'll play this game again.
All right. Moving on, let's touch on a hype me up of the week. We have another fun one. It kind of arose unexpectedly. I'm gonna let Matt take it away, but I wanted to say a little mini story. Matt was playing Worlds Adrift, I think, and I'm like, hey, I'll see what the deal is. I saw him stream it before. I'll go on for 5 minutes to see what the deal is. I log in 5 minutes. I'm playing. I'm like, wow, this game is pretty fun. And then I ended up playing for 6 hours, and we streamed the entire thing on Twitch. If you want to skim and look through that, but I didn't think I would play. It looked pretty boring, but I had a lot of fun. So Matt, talk a little bit about Worlds Adrift and tell us the spiel, why we should be hype.
All right, so imagine a survival game, and instead of being on flat Earth, you're in like an infinite world in the sky, and in the sky are a bunch of floating islands. Okay, so now you've got a good idea of what to expect from it. So, because it's in a floating island world, you have a grappling hook, and you also build ships. And the game's a little weird because the ship is more like your base. Like, you can't build like things on the ground. You overall try to build a ship and then later replace it with a bigger ship until your ship is the biggest you can make it, I guess. But yeah, you just build ships, go from island to island, and you find more schematics, you build better ships, and just over and over in an infinite world with a bunch of other players. It's an MMO instead of like a
server-based.
Yeah, server-based.
It looks awesome. Show off the video in the background. I mean, this is, if you like Rust, you like Ark, and you want to play in a persistent world, this is, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the only persistent world survival game?
No.
It's not? What else is there?
I would definitely call Mortal Online a persistent world survival game.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was more like Ultima.
It has an Ultima like skill system, but it plays like a survival game.
So it's persistent world, which is I think one of the missing elements of the Rust experience or the Ark experience, in my opinion. I play a lot of Rust, didn't play too much Ark. Was the persistent element. So I feel like that gives the game a little bit more meaning, having that. And instead of base building, the ship building is kind of cool too. And you can make the ship however you want. You know, there's no really limit to your size. You can make it a giant floating castle if you want.
And there are defaults, so if you don't have any like ability to make like a ship frame on your own, they'll give you a default. But then once you've got that default frame, you have to plaster on every single panel and every single like engine individually on your own. It's just the frame you build at once, and then everything else you just plaster on one thing at a time.
So this is like one of those games, like you guys said, Rust, where you run around, like you start naked, you cut down the trees, you mine some nonsense, you build.
Yep.
And then open PvP, you die, you lose everything. Right?
Yeah. You lose everything, but you have
schematics.
But you're what?
But basically, schematics too, because you learn those permanently. Okay. But let's say you have a gun equipped, right? Because there's only like 1 or 2 guns in the game right now anyway, like things you can actually equip. You'll hold on to that, but you lose everything else on you. Like you'll lose your ammo and everything else. But having the gun is really not that big anyway, because they're kind of easy to craft.
So
they're just expensive at first.
Yeah. What stage are we at in development? I know you guys played the alpha or pre-alpha.
Yeah, it's alpha now, and they're going to be going on early access sometime this year. Okay. They didn't really say, but I think people have said that this alpha is going to go on until early access begins.
So
and what are we talking? Pre-play, buy to play?
It's going to be buy to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I didn't think I would have fun. Watching the trailer looks cooler than the actual game probably, but I watched Matt stream it earlier by himself, and I was like not impressed, because I played Rust, and I don't know, the game was super laggy. It was very, very early in the process, and even with the lag, I had a lot of fun. I went into it not expecting to play, and I played for 6 hours straight. And eventually, the servers went down, I think, shortly afterwards anyway, but it was a lot of fun.
And I mean, one of the most fun things is so they have Atlas cores on the ships, which are basically the things that keep the ships afloat. Like you have the engines that propel them forward or the sails, but the Atlas cores keep them afloat. So one of the most fun things that I've found to do is find people with ships, shoot them, and then destroy the Atlas cores, jump off, and swing off of the island at like the last second before you fall too far.
So you can see the ship like falling down, and you grapple out of it with your rope, and you just swing while you see it falling in the background. It's a very satisfying feeling.
It's much better than blowing up bases that are on solid ground.
And yeah, you gotta give them credit for that too. They're doing something a little bit different. 1, persistence. 2, instead of bases, the way we've seen in so many other survival games, you build ships, and your ships are your bases. So it's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to the launch for sure.
So it's
and
air
when it gets
pirates.
more players, it'll be fun. Yeah, you're basically sky pirates. Everyone's a sky pirate, and it's really fun. It's solid game.
I mean, the persistent part makes me at least willing to try it, where I was never a fan of like Rust and stuff. I know it's probably the minority opinion here, but those games just kind of seem pointless to me because by the time you build up, there's either like a server wipe in process or your friends just jump to the next server. So it kind of looks like a treadmill where you never actually make progress, you know?
At least here, everything is persistent. The thing they talk about is like you chop a tree down in one island, or you throw some like item down on the ground. The item on the ground will be there forever until somebody picks it up. Like it's not going to disappear.
Wow. So everything, even like the items and terrain changes are persistent.
So that's hella
everything
cool.
is persistent unless you're driving your ship and during a server reset.
Syntax, what happens when you log off? That is actually a funny issue because your ship will actually be in the world. There's no like safe place for your ship. So yes, unless you have to hide your ship, otherwise it's gonna get raided. So you have to hide it somewhere. The world is ginormous. You can try finding maybe like a place to hide it, but you're never truly 100% safe. And there was always like a risk in persistent games. I mean, even Rust, your base can be raided. So I'm not sure how they're gonna if they plan to tackle it any differently. But right now you are vulnerable when you log off.
Interesting.
Did you show the video on stream?
We showed off I'm sure you showed off some gameplay, but
I'm sure
I
Oh,
did
the
upload
video, like the video that you know I'm talking about. The video.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I uploaded it to YouTube if they didn't see it. I mean, it needs some context too, but I made a funny video of me falling down in the game on World Adrift. I know Shu saw us stream too. It was again surprisingly fun.
Yeah, so this is Remo falling off a ship, I guess. And I just like how emotionless his character looks.
The music is what does it, though. You have
Yeah,
to
of
listen to
course.
the music.
What is going on?
Yeah, you were really into that game when you were playing it.
Yeah, I didn't expect to, but I'm glad I hopped on. Also, I know we got to mention this because Gumby said earlier that we have no big MMORPGs launching in 2027 potentially. Yo, we got one. All right, we got Mu Legend. Mu Legend's launching its second closed beta soon, and I actually kind of want to play it. I had fun in the first round of closed beta, but the only thing is I don't like playing closed betas. I don't like my character getting wiped. So when this game comes out, I'll definitely play it just to see if I like it because I do like Diablo style action games, and I thought the closed beta was a lot of fun.
I think we all had fun.
This game will be huge, I think, in globally.
Yeah?
Yeah, this game I think it's gonna pass a lot of what we think are like better looking games because like they're gonna have a global server. It's gonna service Latin America, North America,
everything but just Korea probably. Korea will probably have its own server. China might too. But the cool thing is beyond that, there's not gonna be an IP restriction, and even the client is gonna be localized in like Polish and all these other languages too, like Brazilian. Brazilian Portuguese.
By the way, before we're crucified, again, we don't mean that there's no MMORPGs launching this year. We know there's a couple, there's just not many.
Yeah.
Yes, Revelation's coming out. Crowfall may have supposed to have their beta, as far as I know. It's just the platter is tiny.
All right.
They're samplers.
I'll go on a limb here. I think this will be the biggest launch of the year. Mu Legend.
Do you think it'll be bigger than Revelation?
Yes.
We'll see. I mean, I think I had more fun with this than with Revelation personally.
Yeah, I think I would say the same thing. I really enjoyed this game, much more than I thought I would. I'm actually looking at our Sunday Funday now.
Do you know why? It had damage charts. All right, boom. All about the damage charts.
I remember our biggest issue was just that at the time it wasn't optimized.
Yes.
So we ran into some issues when there were too many enemies on screen in the endless elevator. I'm not really sure how to say it, or endless dungeon. But it's a very flashy, very stylish game, and lots of big numbers to make you feel like you're much stronger than you actually are.
I like when games make you feel that way.
And
Big numbers on the screen.
It looks like it's made with like lower graphic settings so that it can service a bigger audience in East Europe,
That's
South
fair.
America,
That's true.
than a lot of these other games.
I mean, I think a lot of people. It's either this or Revelation, which are the only games like on the nearby horizon that are going to be pretty big. And again, you can't undersell Revelation either. That player base in CBT1 when we did our Sunday Funday video and went to my first look video, it was enormous despite the fact that it was not localized at all and it was laggy, and it was unbelievably popular. Even today, people are every time we give Revelation online keys away on the site, they go instantly. People are camping those keys. They don't last more than an hour. Like they go so quick. when somebody links like on the Revelation forum, like, oh shit, these guys got keys, go get them. So they are the hype for Revelation is real. So I think you might be surprised how big that game ends up becoming too. But after playing Moonlight Blade, it makes me hard to get hype about Revelation. Honestly, I feel like Moonlight Blade captures a lot of what Revelation did, but in a nicer environment and even more fluid combat.
All right, prediction time. So my
Oh,
recently
boy.
got Warface, right? They're licensed to Warface.
Yes, they picked it up from Crytek.
Okay, I say Daybreak and one is gonna buy the other. They're gonna merge.
Really?
Yeah, both Russian, both publishers of these, MMOs. That's my prediction. Boom.
I mean, my.com is ginormous. I
So
think
then My
they're
will
not gonna
buy
be the
Daybreak
one.
then.
My will have to buy it because my is owned by Mail.ru Group, and they're a big Russian internet company. And I think they could easily afford to buy out Daybreak if they wanted to. And we are seeing my.com get more serious about Western MMORPGs, and they got Warface as well in North America and Europe. They're launching Cloud Pirates and Revelation. These are all new. They're pretty relatively new MMO publishers. We think MMO publishers in the West. We got Area, stuff like that. But these guys came out in the last 2 years, and they're coming strong. So it's possible.
We shall see.
Especially because Daybreak Games, it's owned by a hedge fund, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think those hedge funds buy companies to run them forever. They buy them to improve them or make them leaner, and then they flip them for profit.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, hedge funds don't maintain businesses forever. So we'll see if Altai's prediction comes true, though.
Make sure you write that one down.
All right, I'm writing it down right now. We'll keep it real.
All right.
When's your time frame?
This
Give
year.
us a time frame.
This year.
I think that's fair.
And we talked about Worlds Adrift. There's another sandbox survival game coming out this year. Who knows what I'm talking about?
Oh, we all know what you're talking about. I'm hyped for it too. A little Conan Exiles, baby.
Conan Exiles. That's right. What's the word? Someone give me the word on this one.
Well, they announced that it's going to be $30.
$30.
That's pretty good.
That's acceptable. That's what I expected.
Yeah.
I should say.
I mean, I think if we had to really describe it, I think this is the first survival game that's come out that really looks like it has a AAA budget behind it. So I feel like $30 is fair. So I mean, it looks really good. I mean, DayZ, of course, was also a AAA survival game, but I mean, this really looks like a AAA survival.
It looks gorgeous. Again, if you haven't seen the latest video, Dominate in the World of Conan official. If you like survival games, check it out. I mean, I know not everyone. This is not the cup of tea for everybody, but it looks amazing. Controlling those gods and being able to smash those buildings. I think it'll be fun.
Let me tell you a little more detail about some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, you control the gods by basically there's a huge process that goes through it. You have to make an altar. You have to level up that altar to level 3. You have to capture a high priest thrall for your own religion. You specifically have to find it. And there are 3 religions: Yog, Set, and Mitra. I can't remember how it's set, but I think it's Mitra. And then there's the 4th one, Crow, which is the non-religion because Crow doesn't receive worship. So you buy that. You buy into his religion if you don't want to do any religion stuff at all. So then once you have an altar, you have to do certain activities to gain favor with that god. With one of the gods, I'm not going to pretend I know which gods are which right now. One of the gods you have to bring, it's Yog. Okay, so you kill enemies, right? You bring their flesh back to the Yog pit, you cook it, and then you eat it. And you eat their flesh, and by being a cannibal, you gain favor with that god. And there's another one that is the one that thinks they're just. It's for the people that have this sense of superiority, what they're doing is right. That religion, you burn enemies' flesh with a certain artifact, and you gain favor through that. It's insane shit.
Dude, this game is so bloody. I'm looking at the video right now. Holy crap.
Well, remember, the original selling point of what's it called? Conan, Age of Conan, was like the whole it's super violent and like restricted because you can show
you got boobies.
Yeah, you can show your character's boobs in the game. So they're following that up with cannibalism and blood this time.
But look at the guy. Like you can see at the end of the video, for the Dominate the World one, where you can see them control that giant like statue of a man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can literally control that guy when you summon him, and then obviously you can still run away from those people, right? The people can run away, but the buildings, you will literally just step on their creations and destroy everything they have.
Okay, here's the thing about those though. They're only available for a short time, and once you have it takes a long time to summon them, and during the whole summoning process, you're stuck in one place. And then while it's summoned, you're stuck in one place, and you're completely vulnerable. You have to be defended from other people. And that's how they balance it. Like that's God's avatar is only going to stay summoned as long as you're alive.
Dude, I want to be that giant snake.
Right? It looks so cool.
Holy shit, dude.
All right. Day 1 stream. Gumby, Matt, me, Shu, and Aaron, if you're down. Day 1 stream, boys.
Let's do it.
Yeah, if we get keys.
All right. I'll buy the game.
Also,
don't get keys.
Day 1, I don't know, it's alpha or whatever. I don't know if you can. But
yeah.
When is this?
No, it's launching on early access in exactly a week, next Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Oh, damn, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
down.
And I also wanted to throw it out there. Another cool thing. So you saw the guy dragging somebody across the ground with a rope, and then you saw the people pushing the wheel around. Basically, what happens is those are NPCs, and what you have to do is you capture them, you drag them all the way back to your village, you put them on the pain wheel, you break them, and then they become your thrall.
They become your slaves. How cool is that?
And when they're your thralls, certain ones will like defend you. There's the high priest one, like I talked about earlier, and I mean it's just crazy shit. And they have different like tiers, so like you'll have more to work towards until you have like the highest tier of like named thrall. And it's just I can't believe that all this shit is in there already.
Yeah,
I'm calling in the militia. Let's go MMOs army. Let's go.
MMOs army, boys.
MMOs army.
Yes, it is by Funcom. But yeah, we're curious to see how it's gonna do.
It looks really, really cool, actually.
Yeah, you have to like survival games, but it looks cool.
I would not see myself playing a Conan game, but this looks sick.
Well, I mean, we're playing it not because it's Conan. Again, I think we mentioned this before. Conan has no meaning to our generation, really.
Well, speak for yourself. All right, I got the whole.
It actually has a reverse for me.
Really? A reverse meaning? What do you mean, Shu?
But it's reverse for me. It's like I see the Conan, I'm like, ugh.
Why would you know what it's like? We see weeks,
yeah.
like anime, ugh, and you get mad at people like that.
Well, it's more because I just think of, I mean, I guess with this type of game, it works really well. You know, but like normally I wouldn't see myself wanting to play like a barbarian-esque like type of a game. But I guess if you were to frame it in like that Rust mindset, it kind of makes more sense, you know?
What do you guys think? What are you guys more excited for? Conan Exiles or Worlds Adrift? For me, it's Conan.
Well, it's Conan because it's going to happen next week. Worlds Adrift is going to be, I think, it's still a while away before they get into like Steam Early Access tier already. I mean, the game was very unpolished, unready yet. So
they seem very different to be kind of making a comparison in that way.
I can't. For me, the super open-ended ones like Worlds Adrift, I can't kind of like get into. This one, Conan Exile, seems like it's more focused. Like I know what I got to do right away. Just kill people. You know, like. Get power, get to God, you know. No, I don't know, but it just seems more focused or directioned than Worlds Adrift for me.
All right.
Are we gonna be able to get keys?
I'm gonna try. We'll try.
How much does the game cost? If not,
$30.
Oh, that's not bad.
I think Sean already put in a request.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Again, even if we can't get it, I'll probably end up buying it myself.
I like how the character creator.
I'll pick it up too.
Is your character creator starts crucified to a cross, and that's how you you create your character while they're crucified to a cross.
Oh my god, it's so violent! What? I love it.
So they just went like ham on it. They were just like fuck it, you know.
I just hope that. There's a lot of things going on, and survival games, they typically disappoint me when they release, like Ark, due to optimization issues. But I have faith. I'm going to give Funcom faith, and I'm going to hope that the day one launch, things are smooth enough that we can play and everything's kind of coherent. That was my issue with survival games.
You're right. Yeah, it's always an issue.
And it's very pretty looking. So
it looks very like different from Rust even, because while survival games are a lot of like kind of just indulging in like being like a total ass, right?
Mhm.
I mean, let's be real. That's like what it is. It's like let's just like go around like barbarians and just kill each other. This game like takes it to the next level. Like freaking dragging people back to your camp and eating them. Like it's just like it's
awesome.
it's like the ultimate like let me indulge in being an asshole of a human being. Like
Asshole simulator,
like,
yeah.
you just go maximum asshole in this game. You know?
All right, let's switch to something a little more lighthearted.
Lighthearted.
If you don't want to eat people, you know, cannibalism is not for you, then
You might like
why
this.
don't you go to South Korea, where they're going to launch a new cooking show based on World of Warcraft. So it's a World of Warcraft cooking show.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
got the Blizzard Entertainment logo at the beginning, so it's official. And basically, they cook the meals from the game. The things you can
That's
cook
awesome.
in the game.
You know, I actually bought the cookbook. There's actually a cookbook you can buy. I got it at BlizzCon. It's the official World of Warcraft cookbook. Here, let me grab it so I can kind of tell you what's in it. Right? Be right back. Be right back 1 sec.
This is actually happening, guys. This is not like a parody trailer. This is a actual show coming out in Korea.
Is it gonna be like
basically every week, celebrity chef, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, Choi Yeon-suk, will cook a different meal. He's a celebrity chef in South Korea, and he will have a special guest on the show who he will talk to about his time playing WoW. Apparently, he's a big fan. And we'll get themed dishes like Murloc soup. And I mainly when I buy meals in World of Warcraft, I always bought meat to feed to my pet. But I'm curious to see what dishes he'll be cooking. I wonder if he'll be using that cookbook she was about to bring back here.
I'm back.
Shu actually cooks in real life, so Shu, have you used any of those recipes in like?
I just got it during BlizzCon, so I haven't really had a chance to look through it. Especially because, like, for my birthday, I got like a shit ton of cookbooks. So let's see here.
Appropriate.
I think this is a really fun idea.
This is a real thing. It's $35 actually. You can actually buy it. It's hilarious.
Crispy bat wings, which are just chicken wings.
Wow. Chickens are not bats, guys. Yo, I kind of want to buy this too now.
Oh, you're looking at the cookbook?
Yeah.
The man who doesn't even want to grind his own tea leaves thinks he's going to use a cookbook, a WoW team cookbook.
That's pretty much just like a lot of the recipes from like the game. I mean, they're clearly not going to be like
disgusting.
real dragon stew and shit.
Wow, they could be.
They
right?
kind of approximate it, you know. With
Shoot, do you have to cook the same meal again and again so that way then you can cook the next meal?
I'll take it locked the next page.
I do.
It's like it's locked. You have to cook Murloc soup 30 times.
Yeah, I mean the recipes look pretty good in here. I haven't really tried any of them yet, but they look pretty good. And the book is just well presented. I think it has like the little icon of has like the picture of it made, and it has like a picture in the corner that says skill level. So it says skill level. So for example, I'm looking at this cranberry chutney. It says skill level apprenticed, cooking 35 to 40 minutes.
You know what always shocked me? How MMORPGs and games in general got people that are so lazy to do chores in the game for hours that they wouldn't do in real life. So like, imagine you're playing an MMORPG and there's a quest like tidy up the place before like the guest comes, and you have to like right click and like channel for 20 seconds on each object or something. Like, what are you doing with your life? And your own room is like a mess behind you. It's like
that's me IRL right there. Yeah. Me IRL.
Me too. You're not a real gamer unless you have a messy room, in my opinion.
I agree.
You can 100%. Tell. You can tell if a person's a real gamer or not.
I disagree. I think the trick is to have nothing in your room. That way, it can't be messy.
Well, I mean, that's
clean.
You can pass if you have nothing in your room.
All right, so
go ahead.
Oh no, there was a lull, so I was going to switch topics. But if you guys would like to stay on this,
no, I'm done with cooking. It's enough cooking.
All right,
okay,
go ahead.
Before we get too far off of the survival game topic, I just want to bring this up because it's so fucking weird. Okay, so Snail Games, who publish Ark Survival Evolved as a free-to-play game in China, announced that they're making Pixark, which sounds too close to Pixar in my opinion. Not the point. Okay, so Pixark is basically Ark if it were also Minecraft. Like, if you look at it, it looks just like Minecraft, but it's Ark. It's the weirdest
What is
thing.
Ark
Look
about
at
this
it.
so far?
This is awesome. You'll have dinosaurs, but in pixel form.
Oh, that's cute.
And then it'll have like voxel based like worlds and everything. And the weird part, right? They're gonna completely reproduce the basic gameplay of Ark and then put in this extra ecological system where you can actually completely make a certain species extinct in a certain area.
Wow. Look, I'm impressed.
They're trying to teach you about ecology and shit.
China's doing pretty well with climate change.
I think
Is this not the weirdest thing?
it is super weird, but I like it, and here's why.
I like it.
You know how everything basically in the West today, like everything gets a Lego makeover, right? Whether it's Batman, Star Wars, Harry Potter. Imagine in the not too distant future, everything's gonna get a Minecraft makeover because Minecraft's so big now with kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine like instead of Lego Star Wars, Minecraft Star Wars, or Mario Mario Minecraft, whatever. So
And
I think
then
that's cool.
Yeah.
go ahead.
I like the graphics in this a lot more than I like the graphics in Ark.
What?
I mean, I like the Minecraft graphics more so than the realistic graphics for the most part. That's
like
my
that they-
personal take.
I like that they completely redid the logo in pixel form.
Yeah.
That is such a nice touch.
Again, they
That's
are
pretty
publishing. They have the free to play version of Ark as well. So they'll have the real dinosaur one that's free to play, and they'll have the pixelated one alongside it, right?
But wait, there's more. Okay? Ark is also getting turned into, and they have nothing for this yet. So they're also turning Ark into Ark Go for mobile. And I have no idea what it is now. They don't have any press releases, anything. It's just a sign-up form, or basically like, here's our like Weibo community or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But they're making Ark Go.
There's always a mobile version, guys. Remember, we talked about this, I think, last week. There's always a accompanied mobile version of everything now because of how big mobile's getting.
And it's so weird. Like, they have one image, and it's just this anime girl with like the cartooniest dinosaurs you have ever seen. Here it is. I never expected Ark to be this franchise. That it would be the one that does all this.
You're
crap.
right. Look at this. This seems like this is so weird.
This is so cute.
She's got the cat earphone things. Look at the little dinosaur. Look how cute it is. They really cutified Ark. They took Ark from like the bloody realistic survival dinosaur game it was, and just turned it into like chibi cute Asian.
Wow.
Shoot. Does this art style ring more with you or the current Ark graphics?
I'm gonna
It's
go with
this one.
this new one.
Yes, I knew it. Ark with waifu it's gonna happen, definitely.
I'm not saying it's gonna be better, but
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's gonna be better. But I don't know.
And all we know right now is that it's an AR mobile game. I have no other details for you. And I just can't believe Ark is the franchise that is getting this treatment right now.
That's really weird. In China too, where like they just saw like, the game was popular in America and like, we're gonna make this into a huge franchise all of a sudden. In China, like this stuff isn't coming out in America. But who knows? If it does well in China, they'll probably release it here as well.
Oh, right, I forgot to mention. Apparently Pixark is coming out globally later this year.
Oh, awesome, even better. Yeah, I want to play Pixark. The game looks badass.
I love China.
China's awesome, all right? Speaking of China, all right, back to the MMORPG front. We talked about this, I think, last week or the week before. That Justice game, the one with the amazing graphics called Treacherous Waters Online. I still can't believe these are in-game graphics. There's something about it that seems like this looks way too pretty. Like, come on. That this game is coming out of the closed beta in July.
In China.
In China.
It's basically just an engine demonstration.
But yes, but they're saying
you ever watch an Unreal Engine demonstration?
Yeah, but it looks so pretty. The interface is going to ruin it, obviously. But
the interface is going to destroy it. Don't get me started.
it looks better than like the Unreal like demonstrations I've seen. Like this looks so pretty with the rain and the guy. This is going to be a game with these graphics.
The lightning light effects are so perfect. No game gets that right.
It's nuts.
But
we'll see when the closed beta comes out. We'll see actual screenshots of the gameplay and more like player recorded videos. And I think that'll be a better representation of what the game actually ends up looking like, rather than like the polished up trailer that the devs released. But they do say it's in game.
yeah, and just to note, it may be a closed beta in China and it may be hard to sign up for, but if Twilight Spirits is anything to go off of, it may be like $40 to $50, but you will probably be able to get a hold of a Chinese beta account.
40, 50. I mean, we'll see if we can get in. I'll try registering on there.
You may need whenever they open signups, you may end up needing a Chinese phone number. That's the problem.
Rip. But it's coming out. We'll see some actual in-game stuff about it with the closed beta in July. So it's happening. They at least get the games out. All right, they make it happen. Go China.
Yeah, China gets games out. Well, they don't get Dark and Light out. That's for sure.
Yo, it's gonna happen. Just not this month. Next month, maybe. It's gonna happen. I feel like all roads lead to Ragnarok, and I got to bring up Ragnarok one more time because I've been playing Ragnarok mobile. All right, and by playing, I mean letting it autoplay in the background. All right, this game actually launched at the open beta a day earlier than it was supposed to, but anyone can play it. We give a link to where you can download it from TapTap. The good thing about these Chinese mobile games is if you're curious about it, it doesn't really require much effort to play. There's a guide on MMOs.com how to make an account, but you can make a guest account if you want without making a username and password, so it's even easier. But it's actually a really pretty game. Like, it looks a lot like Ragnarok Online. I mean, more so than Ragnarok Online 2. I mean, the only possible negative I see about the game that people will probably not like, some people won't like, is the auto combat feature. But beyond that, like, it really lives up to some of the Ragnarok. You have the job changes, the same classes, the same music. The music is identical from the PC game. Like, they didn't make a new soundtrack. They're just using the same tunes from the OG version. And this game is so popular right now. I'm playing it, and I see people, like, the places are full. And the only time I stop playing this, and by playing, I mean I let it run autoplay, right, is when my battery runs out. The battery drain in this game is insane. I have my tablet, my NVIDIA Shield tablet, plugged into the wall, so it's charging my tablet, and my dimness on minimum, right, my screen dimness, and my battery runs out while it's charging. I literally, it doesn't let you play it 24/7 because you can't. You run out of battery while you're plugged in.
That's funny.
So I can only play like in these like 10-hour bursts before my battery dies while plugged in. I gotta remember to turn it back on again after it charges. But the game is actually not bad at all. I mean, if you like Ragnarok, give it a try. I mean, there's something to it. And it's actually like the 30th biggest mobile game in China right now on iOS. So it is booming. Like, it's unbelievably popular.
Do we have any word on a Western release or potential?
It's gonna. Yeah, I think it's gonna. There's no word, but it's got to happen with how successful the game is.
No, it doesn't. I mean, Fantasy Westward Journey never came over here, and it's mega successful.
But that was also so old too. Like, this is the world wasn't as interconnected as it is today when Fantasy Westward Journey came out, and because it's mobile, I feel like that also makes it a little more accessible.
Fantasy Westward Journey had Westward in the name, and it couldn't even make the journey here. So, what chance does Ragnarok have?
Yeah. One last thing about Gravity. Go ahead.
I just wouldn't get your hopes up. That's all. I mean,
I think it's gonna happen.
It could, but I would not get your hopes up.
I mean, this game was such like a big hit for Gravity that like the company's stock has literally exploded off this game, and it just launched. Like, if you look at this 1 year chart, I know this is a little out of the scope of the podcast, but Gravity does make this game. And prior to like word of this game, I mean, the company was trading at like $5 a share, and now it's $20 a share.
Damn.
So they went from being worth like $18 million. The entire company of Gravity was worth $18 million US, and now they're worth like over $75 million. Like, literally, Ragnarok. I mean, because it's the 30th biggest mobile game in China on the top list on App Annie, they're making a killing, and they're obviously splitting that with a local developer. So it's nuts how big this game is for Gravity right now. And even if you don't want to play the mobile game, you kind of want it to be successful. They can fund like the continuing development of Ragnarok Online 1.
So look at this game saved them. Look at this chart. I went 5 years.
I know.
They dropped from like 23 all the way down to 5, and then bam, back up.
Bam, mobile game saving them, boys. The last jump was because of Ragnarok Online 2, but then it's like, wait a minute, this game sucks, and the stock went right down.
All right, so then before we get off Chinese games, I just want to throw it out there. Demon Seals came out. It has a PC client, but you have to log in through one of the mobile versions. It's a NetEase game made by the same people that made Revelation. And it was so incredibly popular that the queues were full on launch day.
Was there a queue to get into the queue?
No, it just would tell you it was maxed out. The queues were full. It is one of the biggest launches I have seen in recent times. I mean, wow. I've never seen a full queue. It has, and it's just a mobile ARPG. It looks really nice. Like, I mean, it is a gorgeous mobile ARPG, but I would have never expected the queues to fill.
Wow. I think a lot of these Chinese games will come to the West, and my reasoning was because NetEase, the second biggest game developer in China, they are actually already putting some of their games in the American market. I mean, if you go to NetEaseNA.com, like they have Tome of the Sun, Immortal Conquest, the beautiful all these Eternal Arena. So I think these companies are reaching to the Western audience. I mean, I don't know how successful any of these games are. I don't think they're particularly successful yet, but they're going to keep trying. And this Demon Seals game looks, based on the trailer, just looks pretty decent for, it looks graphically awesome for a mobile game.
Yeah, I played it briefly. It's very much like an action RPG, but for mobile, it's very pretty, and it plays well. And I mean, it took off. Like, it just skyrocketed immediately. I never saw that coming.
The PC version's available too, which is nice. So you got both.
But you have to log in through a mobile client. You have to download it and put it on your mobile phone and play through the tutorial at least.
And then you get on PC.
Yeah. Because you have to... I have a guide for Lineage 2 Blood Alliance for the PC version, or Blood Oath. Sorry, Blood Alliance will not get you the search results. And it's a very similar process to that, where you have to go into the client, go into your options menu, pull up a QR scanner, and then scan a QR code that comes up on the screen of your computer. It's a ridiculous login process, and I don't understand it all, because they all make you log in through your base account for whatever service anyways. So I just don't get why they make you do that.
Cool. The genre is getting bigger and bigger. Just, I think the AAA Western stuff has slowed down, but the genre as a whole, I think because of China and Korea, those games will get, the big ones will get exported here eventually. And I think it's going to get more and more. I mean, NetEase, again, the Revelation, and all the mobile games they're doing in the West. So big games from Revelation, from NetEase will come here. Moonlight Blade's going to come here. So because of Asia's influence, it's going to get bigger and bigger in the West because of that.
All right, so I just have to point out this comment, okay? So in chat right now, yesterday my sister who plays Dragomon Hunter complained to me that the game is being casualized and she doesn't like it. Any recommendations for games for 13-year-old girls?
Your sister's badass.
A 13-year-old girl thinks that this is being casualized.
That's pretty funny. I like it.
I mean, has she tried the other
badass.
Aria games? The other
Twin Saga. I mean, that's the next like logical one to try if she liked Dragonmon Hunter. That's just, your sister's pretty badass to call a game too casual at age 13. Damn.
If she thinks that's too casual, I think she should try out the new Conan game coming out.
That's the next logical game to try.
That's the next jump, you know?
I think that's jumping a few steps there. I'd say probably Aura Kingdom would be a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think we are done for the week. Any
All
last
right.
thoughts?
Well, we got to sneak in. Well, we got to end with a Western. We had like 4 Chinese things in a row. All right.
All right. Let's hear it.
Stormblood is available for pre-ordering. That's the expansion to Final Fantasy.
Did you say Western?
That's not Western.
What the fuck?
Nice
Oh, I'm
try.
sorry. You're right.
That's even more to the east of Japan.
Never mind.
What the fuck, Omer?
That's to the east of China.
If you go west enough, you'll get to it. All right. If you go west enough from America, you'll go to Japan before China and Korea. That's what I meant.
Oh. Okay.
All right, guys. If you guys want to complain about social justice, you can target this Omer guy over here.
All right. Fine. All right. That's where we end the podcast.
You know what
We'll
Mr.
continue
Adolf
in the
said?
podcast.
Japanese are honorary Aryans. All right.
Yeah, of course. There you go.
Is that real? All right.
All right. Peace, guys. See you guys next week.
Later, guys.
Later.